Guess who's here now? Dapper Dave, over to you.
They've sold an eye-watering 15 million albums worldwide, are hailed as pioneers in their field, and continue to celebrate their 40th year as a band. Not a bad day at the office, boys. Ahead of the release of a new box set, greatest hits album, and a new tour, please welcome the wonderful Andy McCluskey and Paul Humphreys from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Chris.
Tell us about the US tour that you've just smashed.
Well, yeah, we were on tour for 2 months, on tour with the B-52s, actually.
What I love.
And Berlin. And all three bands were celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Okay, let's get those songs on the radio now, shall we? Okay. Right, go on. So tell us where you played, how many people you played in how
Everywhere.
many dates?
We just finished in Hyde Park last Tuesday.
Right.
So
Not Hyde Park.
not Hyde Park.
Central Park.
You see, I'm already confused.
You're already
But
back
yeah,
in
we,
London.
we just went all the way across America.
What a laugh.
We got evacuated off stage in Michigan for a typhoon warning. We had to get into a bunker three
Quite
minutes.
exciting, as long as nobody was hurt.
Nobody
as a
was hurt.
result of that. So how big were you in America back in the day then?
Well, it took us a while to break America, because all the early songs, like Souvenir, this one, weren't properly released there. We had a dodgy deal, and it wasn't until...
Terrible record company. Their idea of releasing a record was hiding it under the carpet to see if anyone found
That's
it.
not going to work.
No,
This
it
was
doesn't.
Epic Records, who had Michael Jackson.
So they didn't
But they're not here to answer these accusations of
it's fake
showbiz
news.
shenanigans.
It's fake news.
Yes, fake
We're making it up.
Okay, no, I'm sure you're
Anyway,
not, by the way.
but no, mid-80s, that's when things started. The funny thing is, the biggest hit in America,
Yeah.
which we seldom play in Europe, is a song called If You Leave that was in the movie Pretty in Pink. It was massive
And
over
was
there.
it because of the movie helped, obviously?
Oh,
Totally,
movie
yeah.
definitely helped.
Wasn't even top 50 in the UK. Biggest hit in America.
Pretty in Pink itself, what a great song that is, by the way.
Yeah. Well, we thought that was going to be the lead single until they said, no, it's yours.
Which is incredible.
Which is amazing.
It's
Yeah.
the same title as the song.
You'd have thought
And it
so,
was a
yeah.
great song as well.
It was an amazing song. yeah.
Unbelievable. Isn't it funny, though, that in the 80s, and to a certain extent the 90s, perhaps not the 70s, but the more British you sounded in the 80s, the less well you did in America, and the more ethereal you sounded, like you guys, or Gary Newman or someone like that, the better you did. It was
Yeah.
because really sort of jangly guitars didn't really work in the States in the 80s.
No, it was just really basically because, I mean, we could have broke earlier, I think, but it's just because the record company wasn't supporting us.
Right. Okay.
I don't know, maybe 1976 was the 200th anniversary of their independence, so they were very anti-British at the time.
Was that what it was? Okay. Very profound for the sound.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
you've had plenty of thinking time on the way in today.
You know it.
Now, your fans, right? There are fans and then there are OMD fans. Your fans may be amongst the greatest in the world. We can begin to tell the story of your 40th celebrations via your fans, can't we? Let's start with the telephone box, shall we? Who wants to tell the telephone box story?
Yeah, 2 years ago, we get these frantic calls going, they've taken the telephone box away. And for the uninitiated, our second single was called Red Frame White Light. We wrote about a telephone box in Mells on the Wirral Peninsula, where we grew up, because we didn't have telephones in our houses. So this was the office.
This is our office, yeah, where we did all our business.
And this is a true story.
And I mean, it was in that telephone box that I phoned up the record company to find out that Messages was in the top 20, our first top 20 hit. So it's got a lot of tender memories for
Was
us.
it 2p's then, or was it? It probably was 2p's.
I think it was farthings back in those days.
It was a long time ago, you know. So now it's a museum, actually. It's a very small museum.
Well, there's
dedicated
more to it
OMD,
than that,
and
isn't
there's
it?
a
Because they
plaque.
took it away.
They took it away.
Yeah.
There was a big outcry. All of the local politicians went, oh, it wasn't me, it was him, it wasn't me, it was him. And they all got together and it came back and they painted it. And it's now got a blue plaque of its own. It's
Not that you're dead.
No.
No.
but it's-
Blue plaques are usually
usually for when
reserved
you're
for the
dead, yeah.
deceased.
But the telephone box is alive and so are we. But so, in fact, it's actually now more famous because it was taken away and returned. So, but that's just one element
Right,
of...
no, because your OMD fans, they're devout. They are devout
They
fans. So how come? How come you have this such a solid and loyal and dedicated following?
There's been a lot of people who have followed us since day one, but we've picked up people along the way. And one thing we've noticed touring the world is that our audience seems to have got younger.
that's like policemen, Paul. They just look younger.
Is that what it is? Policemen, prime ministers, and referees.
Yeah.
No, I do think they're getting. I mean, there was someone in the audience in America who must have not quite 20, singing every song, knowing the lyrics
Standing
better
next
than
to
Andy.
somebody who was holding up a sign saying "My 200th OMD gig."
Right, and it wasn't you.
It wasn't. But so it's remarkable. I wonder whether because when we were younger. He was pretty, but I wasn't. We did
You
all
were
this.
both
We
gorgeous.
did this serious
Now it's the other
music
way round.
for geek. We did serious music for geeky boys. So as we've got older, Geeky boys just stay geeky.
I think do you know what? I'm
something
glad
to that.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking about saying it, but it's not my place to say it. But I think you're right. It's the electronic bit of it, isn't it? Because it was quite geeky. It's quite music boxy, your music as well. This in the background, you can hear that, which is why kids still like it. That's like why they like Madness and why they like quicker, more energetic tunes from the 60s, you know, the Beach Boys and the Beatles, you know, kids 4 or 5 now, that just does something differently to them emotionally than more sort of, I don't know, different kind of music does. Listen, what else do you want us to say? It's great. You're on a 21-date UK tour. You got festivals booked next year. I'm trying to strong arm you into playing ours for the kids. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Okay, thank you so much for that. You got other European dates. Souvenir box set and singles collection is out this Friday. UK tour starts Wednesday, 23rd of October in Belfast. Some dates before Christmas, and then some after throughout November. And then let's have a little look here. Then you go into 2020. Great. Well done. How many tracks on the box set?
Oh, well,
A million.
millions.
It looks like a million here.
40 singles in 40 years.
Yeah.
Interestingly, 22 previously unreleased tracks that
22?
he found in the archive.
How big is your loft?
I went into the EMI archive. It's one of those like a movie, you know, with the big steel door and the big wheel that you have to turn to get in.
Like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It really was.
Was anybody in there? Was like Marilyn in there and people like that?
I just kept hearing "help, help" from the back.
Great. Well,
No, it was
done.
great. I
It's
found
so
it.
nice to see you
Loads
both.
of stuff, yeah. And looking forward to the tour.
All right.
And a great support band.
Okay.
MiG-15, my son's band.
All right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Good plug.
Okay. Lovely to have you both here.
Thank you,
thanks
sir.
for
Thank you for having
coming in.
us.
I'm so sorry about your sort of potential heart attack commute.
Yeah, it's all right. I just need a shower now.
All right.
It's worth it.
But we have one.
You have
we
one.
have
Can
a
I use
shower.
it?
Yes, you'll need my pass to get into that one, or Vass's, but we keep it quiet. All right, the Souvenir box set and singles collection out this Friday. Talking to OMD there, in conversation with Andy McCluskey and Paul Humphreys. Great to have you both here. We're late with the travel, but we've got to go for a bit of If You Leave before we get into that with Rachel, if that's okay, Rachel.
Absolutely fine by me.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.